Yo, what is up? Welcome back to the Burnell Washburn podcast. I'm feeling stoked to be alive. So grateful to be recording this episode for you guys. I know this is going to be a valuable one that you might want to take some notes on. You might want to get a notepad ready, and you might want to go back and listen to this a couple times because we're going to talk about my 7-step manifestation formula that can absolutely transform your life and help you create the life of your dreams and basically manifest and attract anything your heart desires. So before we jump into today's episode, I just want to say huge thank you to all the listeners, all the patrons supporting me on Patreon. We're up to like 10 patrons now, or 9 or 10 patrons, and that just makes me feel like such a blessed man. Like, wow. So incredibly grateful for you guys sharing this on your social media. Every time you guys are messaging me saying, yo, I just listened to such and such episode and here's what I'm doing, or here's what I learned, or here's a quote that you said that really resonated with me, I screenshot that, I share it on my platforms, and then people are like, oh damn, maybe I should check out this podcast too. This seems like a high vibe place to be. So we keep growing. The amount of listens we're getting is just steadily, rapidly increasing with each and every episode. I just feel so happy to be doing this, so grateful that I actually started this, and we have a real podcast and a real community that's growing and thriving, and it's really calling in my soul tribe, which is such a beautiful thing. That's really the main reason I started this. Is number one, I'm really passionate about helping people have a better quality of life, helping people step into a more fulfilling, happier, healthier, stronger, better version of themselves. Because I feel like, when more people are doing what they love, the world's going to be a better place. When more people are fulfilled and they love themselves, then the world's obviously going to be a better place. So I like to take my insights, my wisdom, my experience, my perspective, my personality, and use that in ways that can help ascend the planet and help raise the collective consciousness, raise the collective vibration, and just spread ripples of positive energy and good vibes out in the world. And also share actual tactics and tools and strategies. And, it's more than just mindset, even though that's 80% of success and fulfillment is really mindset. It's the inner work, and then the 20% is the mechanics and the logistics. And I teach both on this podcast because both are super important. Mindset being a little more important, but regardless, you still need the actual tools and techniques and stuff that you can implement and put into your life rather than just getting inspired or motivated and then going back to your normal ways. Like, I really love how this podcast is helping people change their behavior. Like, multiple people have started meditating, multiple people started eating healthier, multiple people have started taking cold showers. I've had a couple people go try cryotherapy, float tanks, infrared saunas, microdosing, intermittent fasting, like all the things that we talk about in this podcast and on my YouTube channel and just like on my Instagram. It's cool to see it actually making a difference in people's lives. So I'm not just talking and you're not just listening and hearing a bunch of words and going, yeah, that's cool, but you're actually taking it and applying it and making your life better. So that's what we're all about. Couldn't be more grateful on the trajectory of this podcast and my brand as a whole. Like, today is actually the first day of April, and I'm proud to say that March was my most successful month in online business that I've ever had. My coaching business took off. I got multiple new soul tribe clients that are really aligned with what I'm trying to do and who I'm trying to be around. And I sold more beats than I've ever sold. I played some amazing shows, and I just had a good month. There's a lot of healing, a lot of inner work, and a lot of ascension happening. I feel like it's kind of like my third spiritual awakening type thing, if there was such a thing, or Kundalini awakening kind of been going on. And yeah, I'm just stoked on life right now, and I'm stoked you're joining me today. So I had originally planned to do an episode all about money and abundance and prosperity today, but I think I'm going to save that for the next episode because this other download sort of hit me, and I felt like it was just needed to share. My heart felt called to share this information with you, and I think it's going to absolutely change your life. If you're trying to manifest any big goals or dreams or do anything that's kind of beyond your comfort zone or seems a little outlandish or a little out of reach, then this episode is going to absolutely help you. So, my 7-step manifestation formula, this is basically how I attract and manifest everything in my life. Like, I kind of sat down and I identified what have I done when I've been successful manifesting stuff. As you guys know, if you've been listening to the podcast or my YouTube channel for a while, I'm living the dream. Like, I literally wake up and just get stoked on life every day. Like, every single day, at least 99 out of 100 days, I jump out of bed so grateful, so excited, so happy to be alive. And of course, I have my off moments, and we talk about those, and we talk about my shadows and challenges and stuff on this podcast too. But genuinely, like, I think I might be the happiest dude I know. And I'm not saying that to brag or be like above anyone or anything like that. Like, I'm just stoked on where I'm at. And my biggest mission in life is to share that with as many people as possible. And you can't give out what you don't have, so I had to first get myself to this fulfilled, happy place so I could even share this information. And as you achieve your dreams, then the dream just keeps getting bigger and bigger, so you've never fully made it or arrived. And it's not about arriving anywhere, it's about enjoying the destination and just being. And I'm really enjoying just being lately, and I've got huge ambitions, huge dreams, huge goals that really light me up and set my soul on fire, but for the most part, I don't even need to achieve any of that or obtain any of that. I'm already stoked. I'm already happy and fulfilled. I've already lived such an amazing life that anything else is just kind of icing on the cake at this point, and I love where I'm at, and I'd love to share that with you. So, like I said, I set my own schedule. I make a living off my passion, and I have so for years. I have money coming in from multiple different streams on a daily basis that are all fun, fulfilling, energizing, exciting. They're things that I'm passionate about, like selling beats, coaching people, podcasting, throwing live events, graphic design, painting, you name it. Like, I have a bunch of different sources of income that are all fun for me. Several years back, I used to just work every type of soul-crushing job known to man. And I worked so many different places. It's crazy. I've worked in call centers. I've worked in kitchens. I've worked as custodian. I've worked at the zoo. I've worked at grocery stores. I've worked at every type of job and business you can imagine. Landscape and construction, you name it. Lots of hard labor. And it's all good. It's all built my character. I've learned a lot from every job I've ever worked, but I shifted my paradigm. I was just man, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to wake up and just be bummed out on where I have to go. That just breaks my heart. And it breaks my heart if that's what you're doing right now. So I think listening to my content is going to help you step out of that. If that's not fulfilling you anymore, I think I'm one of the dudes that can help you transcend that paradigm, because I've transcended that for myself, and I now operate in a life where I refuse to accept any type of reality where I would have to spend time doing stuff I don't like to make money. That just doesn't even exist. I don't tolerate that. That doesn't exist in my reality. And again, all of this is coming with loving intentions and a kind heart, and I'm not trying to put anyone down or act like I'm above anyone, or it's the majority of the world really has it hard, and so that's why I'm trying to become as abundant and prosperous and influential as possible, so I can help as many people as possible, because it does break my heart that the majority of the world lives on $1 a day, and it does break my heart that the majority of my friends and family are working jobs they don't really like, just so they can get money, and then they're so burnt out from that they basically can only come home and watch Netflix, and maybe they go get drunk on the weekends, and they have 1 or 2 days a week where they're stoked on life, and even the end of their weekend starts to feel shitty because they remember they have to go back to work the next day. And I just remember those feelings and how bad it just sucked. Just knowing that you have work coming up and you really don't want to go. Or maybe you're at work right now as you're listening and there's so many places you would rather be. So let's get you to those places. You don't have to work this job anymore. And I'm not saying quit your job in the middle of this podcast and walk out. Let's be smart here. Let's set ourselves up to thrive. Let's not make any rash decisions here. It's all about knowing yourself. So for me, I kind of had to burn the boats so I could take the island. I knew that if I had a job and if I was comfortable financially, I might have never had that pull that I needed to really make it happen with my art and my music and, just do things on my own terms. But I'll be honest, sometimes that stifled my growth and creativity because I didn't have finances to support me. So it's so many moves that I could have made could have been so much bigger and better had I had a side job and had I had a better attitude about having a job and been like, you know what? Marie Forleo, who's one of my favorite mentors, calls it a BJ, a bridge job, which is when she was building her coaching business, she was bartended at nights because it provided her the income necessary where she didn't have to take on every single client that would pay her for coaching, and she could put money into Facebook ads, put money into videographers, and put money into graphic design, and know that her rent and her groceries were covered so she wasn't all stressed out. And because a lot of people will start to, quit their job and chase their passion, and they become so stressed out financially and they can't pay their rent or whatever, and they get so stressed out, then they give up on the dream, and they almost have this resentment towards their dream or their calling or their passion because they're like, oh, I tried that and it didn't work and I couldn't make it work, and they start telling themselves a story about how they weren't able to make it work, and it's really sad. So I think it's important to know yourself and know what type of person you are. For me, not having a source of income lit a fire up under my ass, and I was like, shit, I better figure out how to get paid off being a rapper. I better figure out how to, when I wasn't getting paid for shows in the start, I better figure out how to throw my own events. I better figure out how to sell these damn CDs. I better figure out how to make dope enough beats that people want to buy them. It lit a fire up under my ass, and it was a challenging 10 years or so where most of it I was basically, a few days away from being homeless for the most of that period of time. There's so many years and so many months where I was either late on rent or just didn't know how I would pay it, and I somehow came up with the money last second because that was my paradigm, that was my comfort zone, like I talked about in the episode about the psychocybernetic mechanisms, which is basically your vibrational set point. It's what you tolerate in life. That was kind of my set point. My set point was I can get by, I can barely pay my bills just at the nick of time. And so I was kind of trapped in that loop for years, and it caused a lot of stress, and maybe if I had a side job, I could have gone further faster. So, think about that in yourself. But the thing is, you don't have to have a side job that just crushes your soul, if you're feeling absolutely depressed because you have to go to work and you almost want to cry every time you realize work is coming up, that's a sure sign that you're meant for something bigger, more beautiful. That means the reason that you're feeling like that is because your soul knows that you're here for a bigger purpose. You know you're here to inspire and uplift and serve the world in a different way. And the reason you're getting these negative emotions coming up is because you just know that you're beyond that. We're all just this one divine being. I really believe that we are God. God is not separate from us. And that's my opinion, respect to whatever your beliefs are. I'm not trying to push mine on you, but my personal beliefs are that God is not some separate deity from us that we need to worship and put outside of ourselves. It's us, it's within us, it's all one. And so there's a veil of forgetfulness on this planet. We go through amnesia when we step into these human bodies. We forget how divine we are, and that's part of the beauty of life. If we really knew how amazing and limitless we are, that's almost like overwhelming of what we could possibly create. We could create universes, new planets, new galaxies, whatever we want. That's a little bit much. So we almost like we chose to kind of come into this physical plane and play on this kind of 3D reality with a veil of forgetfulness and a sense of amnesia, forgetting who we are, so we could awaken to that and remember that and have fun creating with like somewhat limited parameters. And even the parameters here are still limitless, but we have like a sense of limit. We have this kind of egoic perception of like what we can and can't do, and it makes it honestly more fun. So like I said, the reason that this job is really crushing your soul, I hear a lot of people say stuff like that, man, this job's just crushing my soul, and I used to feel like that a lot. The reason that is because this deeper part of your soul, your higher self, knows how divine you are, and it knows that you're selling yourself short and not owning your potential, not owning your kingdom or your queendom. Like, let's own that shit. Let's go. Let's step into our divinity. Let's remember how great we are and what we're really capable of. That's what this podcast is here to help you do. That's what my YouTube channel is here to help you do. That's what my music's here to help you do. It's to help be one of your guides on the ascension process of remembering who you are. And today I wanted to talk about my 7-step manifestation formula, which is basically just a little roadmap, little checkpoints you can put yourself through. And it's going to take some inner work. It's going to take some journaling, some scripting. This is not just to happen in your head. This is something that you want to really do the work on, because I believe that this formula can transform your life. This is what helped me step into this life now where I'm basically living the dream. And yeah, my dream's so much bigger now, but I'm truly living the dream that I had back when I was working those soul-crushing jobs. I remember thinking, if I could just get paid enough to like pay my bills and do what I love and set my own schedule and not necessarily have to be somewhere at a specific time and wearing a uniform, like that was one of the biggest things that's crushed me. Is like I felt like I'm putting on clothes that someone else chose for me that I do not feel comfortable in just so I can make this money, or like I have to shave my face because this company doesn't allow facial hair, or just some of the jobs I worked at were ridiculous. And you can find way better jobs that are way more aligned with you, that are kind of like, if you are in a bridge job, you can definitely have a bridge job that doesn't crush your soul, that provides enough financial income and flexibility and freedom to chase your passion and build your dream even faster and better on the side without really getting depressed every time you go to work. You know what I mean? Those jobs definitely do exist. So if you're not in a place where you really can where you feel like you can make a living off your passion or your craft right away, you can at least have a job that doesn't crush your soul in the meantime while you're building that. I remember sitting at some of these jobs just thinking, man, how cool would it be to be able to make money off my art? How cool would it be to travel the world and inspire others and uplift people? How cool, because since I started making music, I was like, man, I feel like I can really uplift and inspire people with this stuff, because it's like healing me and uplifting me in such a way that I know I can do it for others. And I was like, how cool would it be to be able to really do this? Looking at the artists that I looked up to and seeing the life they were living, and just, man, it would be so cool to make that impact for others, to travel the world, to get paid to do what I love, to set my own schedule, to wear whatever I want, to be my own boss. Like, that was the dream, and now it's my life, and it's just my normal reality. And yeah, I got a way bigger dream now, but it is really cool. And I sometimes forget that I'm living the dream and the lifestyle that so many other people want to live, and I can help them live that. Like, if you're even 1 or 2 steps ahead of someone, then you can assist them on their journey. You don't need to be wildly successful. I'm not like as big as Logic or J. Cole or something like that, but I can still help any aspiring musician, someone who's maybe never performed before. I can help them get on stage and get over that hurdle of the self-confidence issues. I can take someone who's maybe they are performing but they haven't made money from it yet and help start getting them paid for it. You don't need to be 1,000 steps in front of someone to help them. You could just be 1 or 2 steps ahead of them. So today I felt really inspired to use my wisdom and my experience so far on this journey and help you manifest whatever dreams you're currently trying to manifest. I actually wrote down a 7-step formula for you guys. I never write anything down for these podcasts. I just freestyle them from the dome, from the heart. But this is important stuff, so I actually wrote it down for you guys. I literally make more money per month now from doing what I love, for doing things that are fun, easy, fulfilling, energizing, exciting, inspiring, than I used to make working these soul-crushing jobs. So it's totally possible. I'm no genius. I'm not extra talented or gifted. I wasn't born into some extra awesome circumstances with a silver spoon. No one ever gave me money. No one ever helped me out, really. Like, had a lot of homies and a lot of fans and people that have helped me out, obviously. Like, you guys helped me out, but for the most part, like, it's pretty self-made, and, you know, if I can do it, anyone can do it for sure. So it's pretty cool, you know what I mean? It's pretty cool to, like, wake up and have a 4-hour morning routine, and I can meditate for 4 hours if I feel like it, and sit down and make a beat and, you know, make as much as I used to make in some of my paychecks. Like, it's kind of funny, but that was the dream, and I made it happen, and now I'm stoked on life. So let's go ahead, let's get into this 7-step formula. Before I do that, really quick, I just wanted to tell a quick inspiring story that happened last night to get us on a nice high frequency and remind us a couple key principles in the manifestation process. So last night, I'm feeling good, on a high frequency, had a super blessed day, been up on all my good habits, just been crushing the day. Randomly get inspired to go on a walk. I don't question it, I don't think about it, I just go, I'm gonna go on this walk, and it was a pretty clear, like, spurt of inspiration to go to this specific park by my house where there's a river running through it, and my plan was just to walk there and walk back and then come home and go to bed. I didn't really have any specific reason for wanting to go there. It just felt right. So I went there, and as I was about to leave, I got another random burst of inspiration to go sit on this little bench table area outside where my homie has this art studio. He's a glass blower. And I had set the intention the other day that I wanted to get a new piece because I broke mine and been chiefing out of an apple, and it was just like a small intention that I kind of forgot about. But I wanted to buy one specifically from a local artist that I respected, and I didn't want to just go to any random store and buy any random piece. So I threw that intention out in the universe, and then I kind of forgot it. Another intention that I threw out the other day was that I wanted to start reading more physical books rather than always listening to audiobooks and podcasts, which are my favorite normally because you can do other things, and I could be doing my laundry or going on a walk while I'm listening and not have to be physically reading the paper. So I threw out these little intentions, and then this other intention I threw out was that I would like some more mushrooms for microdosing, and not just psilocybin, but also like reishi, cordyceps, lion's mane, chaga. I know chaga is technically not a mushroom, but I just threw these intentions out in the universe for optimal health and peak performance, and didn't think about it too much. Sure enough, I followed my inspiration to go sit next to this table, and as I'm sitting there listening to Joe Dispenza on my headphones, which, if you don't know who Joe Dispenza is, he's a quantum physicist. He's got a master's degree in neuroscience and psychology. Like, he's really one of the best at bridging, like, the esoteric, woo-woo, spiritual stuff with the science, with the math, with the hard evidence type stuff. So he's really good at bridging those worlds, and he's someone that I've just looked up to and studied a lot over the last year or two. And I'm listening to him, and this random homie rolls up, and I've seen this dude around a couple times, never talked to him too much, but he seems like a chill dude. He rolls up. He's like, "Hey, what's up, buddy?" And starts chit-chatting with me a little bit. Sure enough, 2 minutes later, my homie, who's the glass blower, who I didn't even know was there, pops his head out the window, and he's like, "Hey, what's up, guys?" And mind you, this is like Sunday night, late at night. There's no one else in this area, but all three of us just intersected in this same space. Like, we were all on the same frequency. We're all super introverted people. We're all probably spending lots of time by ourselves, and then we all just kind of connected randomly. I got inspired to go over there. Other homie was already there chilling by himself, and then the other homie randomly rolled up. So it was a synchronistic occasion, to say the least. Sure enough, we get in this deep conversation about thoughts creating our reality and how you can heal your body and you can heal sickness through your vibration, your thoughts, and we kind of start talking about that stuff. And then homie's like, "I actually have this book," the one that I didn't really know that well. He's like, "I got this book that you would really like. I think you should borrow it. Let me go grab it." Can't remember who it's by. It's called Placebo, or it's called You Are the Placebo. And I was like, I wonder if that's... I think you're talking about this book by Joe Dispenza, which is funny because I'm actually listening to Joe Dispenza in my headphones right now. That's a trip. So he goes in and gets the book, and sure enough, it's called You Are the Placebo, Making Your Mind Matter by Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's like, "Yeah, you should borrow this book." So I'm like, okay, of course you would lend me a book after I set the intention of wanting to do more physical reading as I'm listening to a YouTube video by this particular author. Of course that would happen. Then my homie, who's the glass blower, is like, "Hey man, you want to come in and hang out for a bit?" Come into his glass studio, and I had forgot that I had wanted a new piece, and then he's like, "Yeah, I just finished up all these new pieces," and he had all this sick glass work, so I was like, "Oh shit, I wanted to buy a piece." I end up purchasing a piece off him, feeling good about supporting local artists. So I'm stoked on my new piece. We're having deep conversation, super high frequency. This cat is like really woke. He's worked with a lot of plant medicine and done a lot of meditation and inner work, so he's someone that I can have an awesome conversation with. And I don't even know him super well. It's kind of just like a friend of a friend of a friend type thing, and he happens to have a glass blowing studio like right across the street from my house. So anyway, we're having a high vibe convo, and then he pulls out this bag of capsules, of pills, and I was like, what's he pulling out? And he hands me one, and I was like, what is this? You know, I don't really like do drugs or anything like that, you know what I mean? But this dude's, I knew he wouldn't hand me some bullshit, so I was like, what is this? And he's like, "Oh, it's a mixture of different mushrooms. It's cordyceps, reishi, lion's mane, chaga, and psilocybin, and I can't remember what type of psilocybin." And I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. I just set the intention that I wanted some of this." So I had wanted the mushrooms, I wanted a new piece, and I wanted to read more physical books. And I've been obsessed with Joe Dispenza. And then through following my intuition to go on this walk, I get all four of those things just basically gifted to me from the universe because I set the intention, and then I detached and I surrendered and I let go, and I was just following my bliss. I swear that's how I manifest everything. Is like I set intentions. So the more intentions you set in life, the better your life will get. You know, set an intention before you go to sleep. Set an intention when you drink water. Set an intention before you eat a meal. Set an intention before you work out. Like, the more intentional you are, the better your life will get. So I set these intentions, and then I just let go of them. I wasn't worried about how, when, or who I'd get a new piece from. Like, I totally forgot about it after I set the intention. I wasn't worried about the mushrooms. I like to microdose, and I like to be healthy, and I just threw it out in the universe and figured, I'll get some when I get some, and wasn't worried about it. Same thing with the books. Like, the books are pretty easy to check out from the library or borrow from people. I wasn't worried about it. So it's the common theme I've noticed whenever I manifest anything, big or small. I just set the intention, I get clear on what I want, and then I let go of it and just follow my bliss and do what lights me up and what feels good. And when I'm doing what feels good, I just end up in these divine synchronistic moments where the universe brings me everything that I could have ever asked for in such magical, easy, fun ways. All because I just followed my bliss and did what felt right in the moment. I wasn't thinking about how I would. If I was using my brain and my egoic mind to figure out how I could manifest these things, I would have not been there. I would have been at home trying to work hard or trying to grind or hustle or do something like silly to manifest my desires. But when it's just like, hey, I want to go on a walk, I don't even know why I want to go on a walk. I just like walking, I guess. So I'm going to go on a walk. This spot feels like a cool spot to go on a walk too. Fuck it. It always happens like that. I have countless stories like this. There's probably 5 or 6 videos on my YouTube channel about this very topic. But anyway, I wanted to tell that quick story. I know we're like 30 minutes into the damn podcast and I haven't even given you the 7-step formula yet. What the hell am I doing, son? Step your game up, Burnell. Let's go. Let's get into this 7-step formula. But regardless, I know everything I said in the last 31 minutes has been something that we all needed to hear. Something that I guarantee there's something that I've said that sparked a little something in you that you might have needed to hear. So let's jump into it. There's no mistakes. Everything happens for a reason. Let's go. Step number 1, off my very legible, easy to read handwriting, is having a big why through the clarity and the contrast. Step number 1, in essence, is basically about figuring out what you don't want so you can know what you do want. I wouldn't know that I wanted to set my own schedule and wear whatever clothes I wanted if I hadn't previously worked jobs where they forced me to wear a uniform and show up at specific times, and if I was 1 minute late or 30 seconds late, I got marked for an occurrence, and now I'm going to get micromanaged, and I'm going to lose my source of income, and I got to be in this state of worry and fear and let someone else dictate my life. Like, I wouldn't know that I wanted something different if I hadn't experienced that. So step number 1 of the manifestation formula is to go through the contrast to create the clarity, understanding what you don't want so you can understand what you do want. A lot of our big visions and our soul missions and the things that are going to really fulfill us the most in life are born out of pain, suffering, hardship, challenges, misery, struggle. You know what I mean? When we go through these things, it births these new desires for us to make a difference for people in those areas. Like, I wouldn't be doing this podcast if I hadn't gone through that contrast, if I hadn't gone through step 1. I figured out what I don't want. I figured out that I don't like working these soul-crushing jobs, and I wanted to help as many people step out of the matrix as possible. So I kind of found my purpose through my pain. I actually was going to do an episode, I did do an episode last week, but I didn't release it, called Making Pain Your Partner. And I never ended up posting the episode because it felt like, wasn't the highest vibe episode for some reason. It didn't come out as good as I wanted, and I'm not just posting podcasts because it's a Tuesday or a Friday and I have to have one up. It's like, no, it's got to be from the heart, and I got to feel like it's really going to provide value. Otherwise, I don't want to waste your time. Like, time is a precious resource that you can never get more of, so you have my word that if you ever see an episode on the podcast, you can click on it knowing that I felt like it was valuable. You at least know Burnell really believes this is valuable, or else he would not have posted it. I spent 30 minutes recording an episode last week, didn't post it because I didn't think it was that valuable, and I felt like I could just make my point in an easier way. So my whole entire purpose in life was basically found through my pain. And a lot of the best businesses are born the same way. A lot of the best ideas come from trying to scratch your own itch and solve a problem that you have. So step number 1 is just to experience life. This is the easiest step. You're gonna find the contrast just by living your life. You're gonna figure out what type of house you live in or want to live in by maybe living in some shitty apartments that you don't like. You're going to figure out what kind of car you want to drive after maybe taking the bus a lot or walking a lot or having a shitty car break down on you a lot. You're going to figure out what type of ideal clients you want in your business by working for the non-ideal clients. Like, when I first started my coaching business, I didn't really know who I wanted to coach or how I wanted to coach them, and I found clarity, and I continue to find clarity the more coaching I do. I realized, okay, I want to coach high vibe people that are already killing it in life, that already kind of believe in the law of attraction and spiritual woo-woo type stuff. I'm not trying to sell people on those ideals and really convince people on my own philosophies. Like, I'd rather work with people that are already tapped into that wavelength. And I realized, like, okay, I'm not just trying to coach anyone that'll pay me money, because at first I was just accepting money from anyone that wanted to hire me. And now it's a lot different. Now it's like there's almost like a approval process, or like an application or an evaluation process that I have to take people through to decide if they're a good fit, if I'm going to bring their energy into my life, and if I really believe that this is the type of person I can get results for. So I found that clarity on my ideal clients from first seeing what kind of clients didn't resonate with me. So if you're going through any pain or suffering or challenges, just realize, okay, I'm on step 1 right now. I'm becoming more clear on what I do want because I'm seeing what I don't. Step number 2. This is a very important step. This is a step that you've heard me talk about on YouTube and my podcast. This is scripting the ideal vision as if it's already done. So you have this clarity now, and you're going to write it down in your journal. Get a new, nice journal that you enjoy writing with. Call it your magic journal. Get a pen that lights you up, that feels like a high vibe pen. And write down your ideal reality as if it's a done deal. I am so happy and grateful now that, so when I was working a job that I didn't like, I wrote down scripts that sounded like this. I am so happy and grateful now that I get paid to do what I love every day. I'm so happy that I'm wearing the clothes that I like. I'm so happy that I'm getting paid to be myself, travel the world, inspire others, uplift others, and just spread good vibes and do things that are fun and exciting. And I would just write down these scripts as if that was already my lifestyle. Today I woke up feeling so amazing because I got to sit down and make beats rather than going to a job. And you just get really clear on what your life looks like. Do some deep meditation, some future self meditations. You can find those on YouTube and other places, or you can just do them on your own, do them your own way. But you want to get clear on what does this vision look like, and then you write it down as if it's done. Feel all the emotions are the key part of this. You can do the intellectual exercise and not get anything out of it. So you need to embody it on an emotional level, where you basically brainwash yourself into thinking that it's already happened. You feel it so strongly as you're writing it every day, and you keep writing it as many times as needed. And you start to become so clear on this vision that you forget that it's not even your reality. You've basically tricked yourself into... You tricked your whole nervous system and subconscious mind into thinking that it's a done deal. So you do lots of scripting on the vision. So if you're following along in real time with this podcast, what you're going to need to do right now is you're going to need to stop the podcast, pull out your journal, and write down your ideal. Take 2 or 3 pages. Take as much time as you needed. Have fun. Maybe get yourself a high vibe snack. Maybe light a candle. Whatever you need to do. Write down the vision as if it's done. I'm so happy that I'm living the dream now, and this is what I'm doing, and my life looks like this, and I'm traveling to these places, and I'm spending time with these people, and I'm wearing these type of clothes, and this is the emotions that I'm feeling, and when I go to bed, this is the type of feeling that I have, and this is the thoughts that I'm thinking, and you just get as detailed or as vague as you want, but the key is to just really feel the emotion and kind of get clear on what does this life actually look like for you. So, if you're following along in real time, pause this right now and go ahead and do that. Okay, cool. We're back now. If you just paused it, that means you just wrote down this script. You probably are feeling super inspired and just stoked on life right now after you got a few pages written down of just what your vision looks like for the future and what your life really could be. And you've started to really build those neural pathways of this is possible for me and this is what my life can actually look like. So like I said, I have a few YouTube videos on that if you want to dive deeper on the scripting process. But that's step number 2. Now step number 3, I think, is the most important. Step number 3 is probably what helped me out the most. And it's something I learned from a mega successful, awesome mentor who lives the most extraordinary life ever. And when she told me this, it was just a game changer for me. And I actually paid a nice little chunk of money to learn some of this stuff that I'm sharing with you. So, step number 3 is the vision beyond the vision. So this is another scripting exercise that takes things to a whole new level. Because the biggest problem with manifestation and law of attraction is we get set on these intentions and these desires, and then we become so aware of not having them. So we basically become fixated on the lack of something, even when we think we're working hard to manifest it. Like, I was just writing out these scripts every month and journaling and meditating and visualizing and doing all the work on certain manifestations, trying to bring them into existence. And I was stuck in this loop forever where I was like, how come these things aren't coming into fruition when I'm doing all the work? And I realized it's because I didn't know step 3 yet. I hadn't seen the vision beyond the vision. The reason this is so important is because anything that's beyond our comfort zone, anything that we can't imagine or see on the other side of, our subconscious mind marks that as danger zone, fear, scarcity. Like, it's just, if our subconscious mind can't perceive what our life is like at that point, it prevents us from ever getting there because it just perceives it as fearful, and anything that's unknown is scary. So, for example, if you're trying to manifest $10,000 per month from your passion, and you write down all these scripts that, like step number 2 of like, it feels so good now that I'm making $10,000 a month and I now have the freedom to do this, this, and this, and I'm so happy and grateful now that I got this $10,000 a month, and you're doing all this scripting, and you can imagine that, but you can't imagine anything beyond that. You can't imagine making like $100,000 a month. So your subconscious basically prevents you from even getting the $10,000 a month because it's like, I don't know what's past that. I don't know what's beyond that. That's scary to me, so I'm just going to keep you protected and keep you safe. And like, the subconscious mind is controlling 90% or more of our behavior, and it's really here to protect us. So we just have to wire it a little differently and look at things a little beyond the vision, which is why step number 3 is so important. The vision beyond the vision. This is another scripting exercise where we're going to pause the podcast for a minute and we're going to get clear on what's the vision beyond the vision. So let's say step number 2 already is a done deal. It's already your reality. What's your next vision after that? If you had already if you already consistently been making $10,000 a month, now your dream's probably bigger. Maybe now you got super driven because you have this big reason why and all this good you want to do. Now you want to make $100,000 a month off of your passion so you can help more people. Let's do a script about making the $100,000 a month, because then you're going to trick your subconscious mind into thinking that the $10,000 a month has already been done deal. If you keep doing all the work on the $10,000, it's like you keep putting the $10,000 in the future. But if you start doing the work on the $100,000, because that's the next vision, you start to trick your subconscious and your whole being into thinking that the 10,000 is already done and now you're working on this next goal. And the money's just an easy way to, an easy analogy. You can do this with any type of manifestation, obviously. So, write down the vision beyond the vision. Step number 2 has already been your reality for a while, and now what are you calling in that's even bigger and better than that? Let's ground yourself into the vision beyond the vision. Because like I said, if the subconscious mind can't perceive what's beyond your goal of what you're trying to manifest, then it just marks it as fear and it traps you from ever getting there. So pause this recording, go deep into step number 3, and just tap into like the vision beyond the vision of if you had already manifested your dream life. Like, say you're working a soul-crushing job and your dream is to make a living off your passion. Cool. Now let's just pretend you've already been making a living off your passion. You're already doing what you love full time. You've been doing what you love for the last few years. Now what's the next version of that? What's the next higher calling that you're going to bring in? Get really clear and write down a script as if that's already done. So for me, like some of the numbers I use are actually my actual goals. So like I was making about $3,000 a month and I was trying to make $10,000 a month. And I was just like constantly doing all the work on 10 G's a month. But then when I learned step number 3, I started coming from a place of, because you got to come from your vision, not coming from like wanting your vision. You don't get what you want, you get what you are. So I started coming from a place of like, okay, what would I be doing every morning? What would I be writing in my gratitude journal and scripting if I had already been making $10,000 a month? I wouldn't constantly be focused on making $10,000 a month because that would already be my normal reality and I would want something bigger and better. So the fact that I'm doing all this journaling and scripting on $10,000 a month is just constantly putting myself on the awareness that I don't already have it, which is where most people trap themselves and lock up in the whole law of attraction manifestation process. Is they're just constantly focusing on not having the thing they want yet, even though they're saying like positive affirmations around it and scripting around it. They're putting too much focus on that it's not already a done deal yet. So you have to come from a place of like it's already done. I started coming from a place of like if I had the 10 G's a month, I'd be focused on like 100 G's a month. That would be my next big goal that I'd be trying to call in. So every morning when I was doing my EFT tapping and my gratitude journal, I started saying, I now make $100,000 a month. I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm making over $100K a month. I'm building schools. I'm providing clean water. I'm building new wells for clean water every month. Like, I started scripting as if the $100,000 goal was true. And what happened? The $10,000 became my reality. The $10,000 a month was like my new normal because now I'm working on this bigger vision. I hope that makes sense to you. The vision beyond the vision. We can go deeper into this on my workshop or my one-on-one coaching. I don't want to like do a 3-hour podcast. We're only on step 4 now. So step 4 is all about clearing the blocks, getting anything that's out of your way. What can I release? What kind of beliefs, habits, mindsets do not match this ideal reality? So obviously, if I want to make $100,000 a month, I have to show up differently than I'm showing up now. I have to be a different, more valuable version of myself, because things like money is just a reflection of how much value you provide in the world. That's all it really is, and how much you believe yourself to be worth. So in order for me to believe that I'm worth 100 G's a month, I have to probably provide a bit more value than I'm providing, at least 10 times more value than I'm providing, according to my current belief system. So what would I need to release? What kind of beliefs are in my way? I gotta identify my limiting beliefs, identify my self-sabotaging patterns and habits, and I gotta get rid of them. I gotta clear these blocks. Doesn't mean I need to focus on these blocks. It doesn't mean I need to perceive these big gnarly things that are in the way of me getting what I want. It just means I can gently release anything that doesn't match the vibration of my new reality that I'm calling in. So the $100,000 a month version of Burnell is a master communicator, so I gotta step up my communication skills. The $100,000 a month version of Burnell is deeply committed to a big why, who provides lots of value and doesn't let fear get in the way of him serving people. So I gotta release some fear. I gotta be more courageous. Whatever you want to be living on, identify what habits, beliefs, actions, and mindsets are not in harmony with that. If I'm trying to have six-pack abs and shredded physique and be at 6% body fat with 53% muscle mass and whatever, your fitness goals might be, what is in my house right now that's not conducive? Like, is there some Cheetos in my cupboard? I should probably throw those away because those don't resonate. Those wouldn't be in that reality. Am I tolerating messes and things that are lower vibration in my current reality? Like, if so, I got to get rid of them and release them so I can step into that version of myself. Basically, release anything that's just not on the right vibe. I've talked about this quite a bit, so we don't need to go into too much detail. You can check out other episodes and YouTube videos on it, but just let go of anything that's no longer serving this next version of yourself. Really identify, how do I operate once I've achieved my goal? Once, like for me, my ideal reality might be living in Maui, traveling the world, doing self-development seminars and activations and spending time in Bali retreats. And it's like, is that version of myself still getting drunk? No. And I don't really drink anymore, but like, is that version of myself smoking cigarettes? No. Is that version of myself eating shitty fast food? No. Is that version of myself having these negative beliefs about himself and what's possible? No. What does that version of myself really believe? That version of myself believes that, like, I'm a badass, I'm inspiring, I'm empowered, I'm strong, I'm capable. That version of myself believes that making money's fun and easy. You got to identify what that version of yourself believes and doesn't believe, and then let go and do a lot of hypnosis and subconscious reprogramming to let go of anything that's not resonating with that. Step number 5 is pretty similar. It's just you're going to write down, and all of these steps are things you need to write down, by the way. None of these steps are to stay in your head. I recommend getting a journal just for this entire 7-step formula and going through the formula as many times as you need. So step number 5 is really similar. It's all about, who do I need to become? What type of person lives this reality? What are my habits, beliefs, actions, friends? What's my circle of influence like? How do I walk? How do I talk? How do I eat? How do I dress? Ask yourself all these questions and write them down. How does the highest and best version of myself, who's already living this dream, show up? If you're working a soul-numbing, soul-crushing job right now and your dream is to make a living off your art, okay. What does the version of yourself who already makes a living off your art do on a daily basis? How does that version of yourself start out in the morning? It's probably a little different than you're starting out right now. Maybe right now you're waking up and you're waking up to an alarm clock because you have to be somewhere on time. Well, maybe the version of yourself that's an artist doesn't have an alarm clock because it gets to wake up whenever you feel like it. So that's maybe one small action you could take right now, is getting rid of the alarm clock. And that might not sound practical, but you can still wake up on time. But it's all about identifying how that version of yourself shows up in the world and then just embodying it on all levels. Get anything out of your house or your apartment or your car that doesn't go with this version of yourself. It doesn't mean you need to go throw away perfectly good stuff, or you can go donate stuff or whatever, but like, if there's unhealthy food in your house and you're trying to get in the best shape of your life, like, literally throw that food away, because that food wouldn't be in the kitchen of the best version of yourself. That if you want to be a super successful business coach or something like that, does that version of yourself roll around in a super messy car with fast food bags on the floor? Like, hell no. Get rid of that shit and just embody who you really want to be. Number 6 is probably one of the most important steps, and this is to detach and take aligned, inspired action. So another thing you're going to write down is you're going to identify, what actions am I doing now that this is my reality? What can I literally do this month, this week, or what can I literally do today to embody this reality? And you want to be detached aligned and inspired. I don't do hard work. I'm not a fan of grinding or hustling, or everyone's always like telling me like, keep grinding, bro. And I just laugh, like, man, I respect your hustle. Dog, I'm not hustling. Hustling's my old paradigm. I left that shit in the past, homie. Like, I'm taking aligned, inspired, detached action where it doesn't feel like work. Yeah, I might work 8 to 12 hour days, but 8 to 12 hours goes by faster than like 12 minutes used to go by at my job. Because it's so fun. Like they say, if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. And it really is true. And it doesn't mean there's not challenges or difficult times or things that you have to overcome. But it's when you're doing the aligned, inspired action, it just feels fun. It just feels like what you would be doing regardless. Like, I genuinely would be recording this podcast, sitting here drinking this cold brew coffee, doing what I love right now if I had $1 billion in my bank account. The only thing that would be different is I would maybe be in Bali and I'd be sitting poolside with like an exotic fruit tray next to me. And I mean, I can make that happen like nothing. It's not even, I'm not even worried about that because I'm happy with where I'm at right now. And I know that's the next step. But I'm taking detached action too. I'm not attached that this action is what's going to bring in my manifestation. So when you're writing down this list of what actions you can take, you're not attached to like, okay, I have to do this, and I have to do A, B, C, and D. And if I don't do all these perfectly, then my manifestation won't come into be. It won't come into fruition. It's more so just, here's the fun, aligned, inspired actions that I would be taking if I was already living this dream. This is what I would be enjoying. And then you're just completely detached and you surrender to the process. You just enjoy the process of taking those actions and you don't really worry about whether they're gonna, because you can't know like every little detail of how your manifestation is gonna come to be. You have no idea if you're gonna get a call 15 minutes from now that's going to change your life and someone's going to come and offer you some beautiful opportunity that you weren't even thinking about. You have no idea when, like last night I got this book. I didn't know I was going to get this book and the psilocybin and the mushrooms and stuff like that I got. If I didn't write down this list of actions that I had to take, it was just like, no, I took a walk that felt right and then I got gifted with four intentions that I was trying to manifest through such a divine, easy way. So that's part of being detached and aligned. You don't know exactly which actions are going to get you what you want, but you're going to take what actions feel right, and you trust the universe that somehow, some way, your manifestation will come into fruition. A lot of times our ego mind can get attached to how we're going to get something, and then we block all the other ways in which we could get it. We think, okay, I have to make X amount of money per month through this particular avenue. Like, it's like trying to go to California, but I can only ride this electric scooter to California, and that's the only way I can get there. And I'm blocking out the entire idea of like airplanes or trains or cars or teleportation. Or like, I'm blocking out all these other possibilities because I'm so attached to this one avenue, this one way of getting there. So when I take inspired, aligned, detached action, this is what feels right and this is what kind of logically makes sense of what action I should take. But I'm completely open to like some other action happening. And I always, when I'm writing down my desires and manifestations, I always say I would like this or something better or something that's more aligned. Because maybe I'm trying to manifest 100 G's a month, but I really don't need 100 G's a month. And maybe what I really want is to have this like awesome business partner that totally gets me and is really ultra skilled in these other areas that I'm not as skilled in or something like that. And maybe that brings me the lifestyle that I really wanted, that I thought the $100,000 a month was going to give me. in some easier way, and I didn't really need the money to do that. I just needed this other type of partnership or something. You know what I mean? Like, I hope that makes sense. Like, be detached to the specific actions, do what feels right, and even be detached from like how or when or who or where your manifestation will come. You know what I mean? And like our hearts and our souls don't really understand linear time. That's just like the ego mind. So saying I'm trying to manifest such and such within 60 days, that's almost like an egoic way of looking at things. And when you put yourself on this linear timeline, it can cause a lot of resistance. So eliminating time and just detaching from like when, and I want all my desires to come to be in magical ways that are aligned with my soul's higher purpose, and I trust that they will all come in divine timing, and I'm completely open to magic, and I'm completely open to the universe bringing me something bigger and better than whatever I was trying. Because like the biggest blessing I've ever had in my life was having a daughter, and that was completely by accident. I was not planning on having a kid. Never once did I ever think that I wanted to have a kid. I was always the person that said, I'm never going to have kids. Like, maybe I'll adopt someday when I'm, like, rich and successful or something like that. But that's just not in the cards for me. And then I surrendered to the universe a bit and threw my life in the hands of God, so to speak, and just surrendered. And then I received the biggest blessing I could have ever received without meaning to, without intending it, so I'm always open. That really humbled me and like made me realize like, okay, yeah, I am a conscious creator creating my own reality. Every single circumstance in my life has either been created, allowed, or attracted by me, for sure. And I still created, allowed, and attracted having a child. You know, I had unprotected sex, and that's a pretty good way of allowing a child to come into your life. But it wasn't something I consciously thought I wanted or whatever, and it kind of made me realize there's your plan. Like they say, like you make plans and God laughs. God has a plan and your ego has a plan, and if you just surrender to God's plan or universe's plan, if you don't like the word God, or nature's plan or whatever you want to call it, you surrender to that and you just allow magic to unfold in your life. And it really puts your soul at ease, just knowing, hey, whatever's meant to happen is going to happen. And I can consciously work to manifest whatever I want, but I also can just let go, and whatever's supposed to happen is going to happen. It's going to be beautiful, and I'm going to be grateful and awesome regardless. So that's really one of the biggest keys to the whole process, is like being super clear on what you want and scripting it out, and then seeing the vision beyond the vision, releasing what's blocking you, figuring out who you need to become, and then taking the detached, aligned, inspired action on a consistent basis every day, and just trusting the process and enjoying the journey, and just trusting that either what you're trying to manifest or something even better is going to come. If you don't get exactly what you want, it's because something even better is going to come. Like, I'm a really big fan of the quote that's like, whatever is meant for you will come to be, and whatever is not meant for you will pass you by. Whatever passes you by wasn't meant for you, and whatever is meant for you won't pass you by. So when you can kind of live with that much faith and trust in the universe, it just puts everything, it puts you at ease, really. It makes you feel a lot more relaxed and just like, you know what? My life is going to be beautiful regardless, even if things don't work out exactly how I want them to. And I have the power to have them work out exactly how I want them to. But I can also be humble and trust that, hey, maybe there's something bigger that my egoic mind can't see, that's actually for my higher purpose and for the, like, I'm so grateful that the universe knew that I needed to have a child. And it's crazy because, like, I just found one of my first vision boards from when I was like 4. I drew a picture of saying, when I grow up, I want to be a dad. And it was a picture of me with like a little kid, and that I drew when I was like 4 years old. And I don't even remember, I just found it. And it was crazy because, like, I just found one of my first vision boards from when I was like 4. I drew a picture of me with like a little kid, and that I drew when I was like 4 years old. And I don't even remember, I just found it. And it's funny how that, my first vision board ever came to be. And then I just found these old cereal bowls that I took from my parents when I left my parents' house 10 years ago. It was one of the only, I didn't really take any furniture or anything from them, but I took a couple bowls because, like, I think they were going to throw away these cereal bowls, and they were like these awesome Winnie the Pooh cereal bowls that I thought were really nice. So I was like, I'll take those. I take them, and then just like 3 or 4 days ago, I flip over the cereal bowl, and the name Olivia is on the bottom of the cereal bowls, which is my daughter's name. And I was just like, huh, how interesting that 10 years ago I took this cereal bowl from my parents' house and it happened to have my future daughter's name on it. And here I am with a 4-year-old, almost 5-year-old named Olivia, and I've had these cereal bowls the whole time. So it's kind of like makes me feel like there's this divine plan that's so much bigger than I'm ever going to know. So I should just surrender and trust that everything's going to work out how it's supposed to. And I can have fun keeping myself busy and letting my ego think I'm creating my own reality. And I can have fun manifesting all this shit. But deep down in my heart, I kind of know that, like, there's something bigger here that I don't understand. And whatever is meant for me is going to come to be. And whatever's not meant for me is going to pass me by. So that's kind of a long explanation on detached, aligned, inspired action. You're just doing what feels right. You're trusting the universe, you're enjoying the process, and you're just doing the best you can with what you have right now and just kind of surrendering a bit. I know that's not new to a lot of you guys because I have a really sophisticated audience here that you guys already know this stuff. I'm more in like the reminder business than anything else. I'm here to remind you what your soul already knows. Because I need those reminders like on a daily basis. I've watched the same videos on YouTube like thousands of times just to keep me on the right vibe. Step number 7. This one is really important. I was trying to come up with some type of acronym or some cool little word, but I never came up with it, so I'll just speak it out. Accountability, routine, and dedication. Step number 7 is all about being accountable, being dedicated, being fully committed, going all in, and then having the routines and the habits in place to keep you on track and keep you in alignment with this frequency. Because everything's just a frequency. So it's not even about working hard or hustling. It's just the hustle and the hard work, if there is such a thing, is the frequency. The work is the vibration, is getting yourself to the right vibe. So it's all about re-choosing the frequency that you want to be on as many times as necessary. And when you're committed and you're dedicated and you have the right habits and routines in place, those all just serve as ways to keep you on the right frequency. You know, for me, exercising and cold showering and meditating and going out in nature and scripting and gratitude journal and all these things that I do every day are just tools that I use to help me embody the desired frequency. So I don't slip off, because if I don't do all these habits and routines and stay dedicated and I'm not accountable to anyone, then I can easily forget what I'm trying to manifest and I can slip into a vibration that's not in harmony. I can slip into my lower self and my old ways and my kind of less desirable tendencies. I can fall into my shadows and stuff. And all those are important because they help me. They provide the contrast and they bring me back to step 1, giving me more clarity on what I want and why I want it. So this whole 7-step formula really is like a circle if we were to look it out, and you keep going through this circle over and over again. But the routines and the habits and the accountability just helps you stay on the right frequency and helps you re-choose that vibration as many times as needed. Like, there's never going to be a time where you just like, you get onto this vibe and you're locked in for life, for eternity. Like, maybe with certain things you can get a lot better at it, but like, for me, I notice I have to re-choose the vibration over and over again. For me, like, I'm really reprogramming my mindset around money and prosperity and abundance lately. It's been like the majority of my work the last 6 months, spending multiple hours a day reprogramming my subconscious mind around that topic. because I feel like, money is just this awesome tool that I can do a lot of things to make the world better, and I can be a higher, more beautiful expression of myself when I have a lot of money. It's just like a neutral tool, and I can just do more good when I have it. So I've been reprogramming that, and having a routine, being dedicated, having habits and actions just helps me re-choose that vibration, because I'll slip into worry, I'll slip into fear around money all the time. A bill comes up, or an expense comes up, or something breaks, and immediately I'll slip into my old ways, or I used to slip into my old frequency of being worried and stressed, because I lived majority of my life not serving the world anywhere near as much as I could be, because I was so worried and fearful about money that I didn't have the tools and resources and team and things that could help me benefit the world and serve the world. Like, I wasn't able to live out my soul's purpose on the highest level because I was so fearful. And it was just funny to let this neutral tool have so much control over me when it doesn't have to. So I'm spending a lot of time reprogramming that, and it's just like 10, 20, 30 times a day I have to re-choose the vibration of prosperity and abundance. Some days are easier when I'm making a lot of sales and my beats are flying off the shelves and my coaching business is popping off, and I get money in my PayPal and Venmo and all this stuff every day, and it's like, yeah, it's easier to feel like I'm on the right frequency. But then, when something breaks down or unexpected expense comes up, it's easy to slip back into that scarcity mindset. And I don't even it used to bother me, and it would throw me off for like a few days or a few months, and then it would throw me off for a few hours, and then it would throw me off for a few minutes, and now it's like, throws me off for like a few milliseconds where the scarcity pops up, and then I go, oh, scarcity mentality. Let's re-choose abundance. I'm prosperous. I'm abundant. Money's fun and easy to make. I get paid super well to be myself and do what I love. God's wealth is my infinite supply. God's wealth is flowing to me in avalanches of abundance. All my needs, desires, and goals are met instantaneously by infinite intelligence, where I'm one with God and God is everything. I'll say these affirmations, I'll say these mantras, I'll use my physiology and move my body different, and I'll reconnect with the energy of abundance and prosperity. Sometimes when I get really scared about money, I go donate some money or give someone a gift, like right after, just to reset my vibe and just retrain myself. Like, nope, there's plenty of money where this came from. Like, we're going to talk all about money on a future episode and how to transform a scarcity mentality into like a prosperity mindset. But it's a matter of being committed to your vision and just re-choosing the desired frequency as many times as you need, over and over again, for as long as it takes. That's why step 7 is important, to have accountability. I really think we all need mentors, coaches, friends, and communities, and things that hold us accountable. So for me, my podcast is a form of accountability. The people that support me on Patreon is a form of accountability. Like, they're expecting me to uplift and inspire them, and so I have to keep myself accountable and keep doing the actions and keep re-choosing the right frequency, because if I tolerate myself slipping on a negative mindset, then I'm not going to inspire and uplift and serve them as much. And it's not like they're expecting me to be perfect. I'll come on here and be human and just say, yeah, I get fucking angry sometimes, I get sad sometimes, whatever. It's a part of life. But I'm committed to re-choosing the vibration as many times as I need it, and having these communities and these outlets that hold me accountable is very crucial. So if you don't have a coach or a mentor, that's something that you need to change. None of us can do this alone. My life exponentially started improving so much when I started investing in myself, investing in my mindset, and paying people who were further along than me. Paying people who had already achieved results that I wanted to achieve, and saying, hey, I need some help in this area, and not being ashamed and not being all in my ego. Like, I used to think there was some sense of pride in being self-made, and I loved talking about how I was self-made and no one's ever taught me shit and no one's ever helped me, and look at me, I'm self-made, I'm a boss. And I realized that was all ego and then all pride, and I transformed to that, hey, I love investing in coaches and mentors and people that can help me get where I want to go faster. My beat sales took off once I paid someone who sold a lot more beats than me to coach me on selling beats. You know what I mean? There's just, my health game improved so much when I started being around mentors and people that were already at the level of health that I wanted. It's I look at the dude with big arms and six-pack abs and glowing skin and big smile on his face, and it's that's the type of energy, and has energy to run up a mountain. I'm that's who I want to be. I'm gonna listen to this guy. I could sit here and watch YouTube all day. I could beat my head against the wall. I could just bust ass trying everything on my own, thinking I know the way, and I might get there, but it might take me 10 years instead of 10 months. So if I just connect with someone who's already there and ask them for help and maybe pay them for help, then I can get where I want to go a lot faster, and I can be held accountable. That's why masterminds and communities and stuff are so crucial and so important. So once you become accountable to yourself first and foremost, I tell myself, this is my reality, this is the vision, this is who I'm being, this is what I'm embodying. And anytime I slip off, I just re-choose to embody that again. It's as simple as that. I just keep making the choice. No matter how many times my vibration slips off, no matter how many times I fall into the wrong focus, I'm going to keep choosing the frequency that I want to be on. I'm going to keep practicing that as long as it takes, because I know it's worth it. So before I let you guys go, I just want to recap what we've talked about, re-go over the 7 steps, and like I said, this might be one of those episodes you want to go back and listen to and take notes on and do the work on. And I've paid real money to learn some of these steps and understand them on a deep level. And the benefits that I received from doing this work did not come from listening. It came from writing it down multiple times and meditating on it. So step number 1 is the contrast. It's the easiest and most inevitable step that's going to happen just from living life. You're going to get clarity on what you do want by seeing what you don't want. And step number 2, you're going to script out the vision as if it's done. You're going to feel the emotions that you would feel. You're going to really connect to that version of yourself so you can start embodying that through all your actions. Step number 3, you're going to see the vision beyond the vision. Pretend that your first vision's already done, and then now you're calling on the next bigger vision, so you can show your subconscious mind that it's safe on the other side. Step number 4, you're going to release the blocks, you're going to rewire your belief system, you're going to identify all the mindsets and beliefs and thought patterns and habits that are not conducive to you calling in this vision and living this ideal reality. And you're going to rewire it, you're going to create new belief systems. And you're going to have to even write down what are some of these beliefs, and then you're going to write down the new beliefs that are going to take place. And then you might need to find some hypnosis and stuff to wire those in every night. Or you can record your own hypnosis. Listen to it every night as you fall asleep. Step number 5, who do you need to become? Identify what type of person lives that reality. What habits do they have? What beliefs do they have? What kind of friends do they have? How do they eat? How do they walk? How do they talk? How do they think? Everything. You're going to identify who you need to become. Like Napoleon Hill says in Think and Grow Rich, he says, what are you willing to give in order to get what you want to receive? Who are you willing to become? Because you don't get what you want, you get what you give, you get what you are. So what type of energy are you willing to give off? What type of service or value are you willing to provide the world in return for this dream? What type of habits and actions are you willing to be committed to? Step number 6 is the detached, aligned, inspired action. So you might want to go write down an entire list of all the actions that you could be taking now that you're living this dream life. And what are some actions you could do right now, today or this week, that would accelerate this vision, that would call it into existence even faster? And then again, you don't want to be detached from those. You want them to be aligned with your heart, not coming from a place of ego, coming from the spirit, the soul, the heart. And then just being detached, knowing that you're open to magic, you're trusting the process, you're enjoying it, you know you're blessed either way. You know that whatever's meant to be will be, and whatever's not meant to be won't be, so you have complete faith and you do what you feel inspired to do. Let the universe do the rest. Number 7, get a mentor, get some accountability, and really dedicate yourself to the routines and the habits. Embody this on a daily basis and just commit yourself to re-choosing the energy as often as you need to. Re-choose that vibration as many times throughout the day as you need to. And over time, like I talked about in the psycho-cybernetic mechanism episode of creating new neural pathways, I had the whole metaphor with the jungle and the waterfall. If you haven't listened to that episode, I think it's like number 13 or 14 or something like that. Maybe 12, I don't remember. But regardless, it's a good episode you should listen to if you haven't. But basically, if you just keep re-choosing this vibration every time your vibe slips off, over time, myelination will occur. You'll have stronger neural pathways. It'll be easier for you to think that way. And it'll just become your natural set point, and you won't have to keep re-choosing. It's like, I don't have to, like when I was trying to create the belief system that I'm a healthy person and that I eat super healthy, I had to keep embodying it through my actions, but then every time I slipped off and I would mess up and go eat some junk food or something, then I'd start to think negatively and I'd slip off the vibe and I'd think, oh, I'm not healthy because I just ate that, and then I'd have to re-choose the vibe. And over time I kept re-choosing it and it just became my set point, and now it's like, it's just my life. I don't even consider anything different, and I can't even remember it's like hard to even remember the time when I wasn't super healthy and had a super good diet. So the more often you keep re-choosing it, the easier it'll become to just naturally think like that, and that'll be your normal belief system, your vibrational set points. Like the more you keep walking to this waterfall, the clearer the path becomes, the less blockages are in your way, and it becomes easier and easier to arrive at this waterfall, so to speak. So I hope this episode has been impactful for you. I hope you will commit yourself to actually doing this work. If you can't do it right now, maybe you're at work or you're just busy with some other stuff, that's cool. You got a nice little dosage of thinking this way in the first place. So now when you go pull out your journal and you do this actual work, it's going to be that much easier for you because you already kind of know, you have an awareness of the 7 steps. And I believe that if you just keep taking action on these 7 steps and you keep doing this inner work through your journaling and your meditation, you can create anything that you want. You can truly live the life of your dreams. Like, if I can do it, anyone can. I am not special. I'm not extraordinary. I'm not talented. I'm not smart. Like, let me rephrase that. I am all those things. I am extraordinary. I am talented. I am smart. But I'm not more extraordinary or smarter or more talented than you or anyone. We're all God, yo. We're all just this one being, and we're all capable. And on this physical plane, whatever adversities, we all face different adversities and challenges, but we all have different strengths and benefits to take its place. Like Napoleon Hill says in Think and Grow Rich, like, every adversity carries with it a seed of equal or greater opportunity. So like if you were born with no eyesight, then maybe you have advanced hearing or sense of smell or something. Like, we all have different strengths and weaknesses, but the thing is, we're all capable. We're all powerful beings. We can all create any reality we desire, and we all deserve it. It's impossible to ask the universe for too much. You cannot possibly ask the universe for too much. You truly can have it all. You can be, have, and do anything your heart desires. And matter of fact, you should, because the entire world benefits when you prosper. The entire world thrives when you thrive, because we're all one, and the better, like, you can't serve from an empty cup. You know what it is. Fill yourself up, go fill others up, go get fulfilled so you can keep filling others and become as abundant and successful and healthy and prosperous and glowing as possible, and be unapologetic about it. Do it in ways that are harmonious, with integrity, with love, with compassion, with kindness, with respect for all life. And get out there and create your dreams, because you deserve it. Like, You do not have to accept this reality where you're not happy with your life. Just understand, if you're working a job you hate or you're doing something you don't love right now, just say, guess what? I'm on step one in this area of my life. This step one's the clarity and the contrast, and this is birthing my big why. I'm making pain my partner. I'm turning all my hardships into blessings. I'm using it all as fuel to ignite the fire in my soul. That's going to go make a huge impact. And you know what? I appreciate it. I appreciate step one. I appreciate all of the hardships, all the challenges, all the contrasts, all the duality, all of the things that made me desire these big dreams in the first place. Because if I was just born with my life being amazing and I never went through anything challenging, I wouldn't have had this desire to be such a force for light and uplift and serve and help as many people as I'm trying to help. So be grateful for step one. Be grateful for the contrast. And just know you're capable of anything. You're so much more powerful than you realize. Like all of us are. We're so much more powerful than we could ever fathom. If we even caught a glimpse of our true capabilities, it would blow our own minds. So it's almost like we came to this earth with a sense of amnesia, forgetting how great we are. And that's like the whole entire mission of life on this beautiful planet, is to awaken and rediscover how amazing and how powerful and how blessed we really are. So I love you guys. Thank you for listening. If you haven't yet, please leave a 5-star review. That helps more people find the podcast and grow the Soul Tribe. So infinite gratitude to everyone who's done that already. It only takes a few seconds to just click 5 stars and write like a sentence of what you think about it. It just helps the algorithms. And then screenshot this or message me. Like, even if you just say, it doesn't have to be this long thing. Like, I love it sometimes when someone just says, like, today's podcast episode is straight fire, flame emoji. And that's all they say. It's like, cool, I can screenshot that, post it on my social media, and it shows all my music fans and the other people that aren't listening yet that, hey, this is a high vibration place to be. I'm going to go check out Burnell's podcast, and it might change their life. So you might actually change someone's life just by sharing this information. And I feel like it's good karma too. Like, I try to share all of the greats that I listen to and the YouTube channels and podcasts. And obviously I'm creating my own content, so I can't just share other people's stuff nonstop. But I'm always talking about the people I'm learning from and trying to share their content, because it's helped me out so much that I almost feel like it's like good karma for me to share that with the world and help push like the messages that I believe in. So I really appreciate everyone that's also supporting this podcast and supporting just the entirety of Burnell Washburn on Patreon. We're up to like $80 or something a month right now, which is super sick, helping offset some of the expenses involved in creating the content, and it helps inspire me to create more. It obviously gives me resources to expand the message and do more good in the world. So I really appreciate you guys. If you want to check that out, you can just go to patreon.com/Burnell Washburn. There's a link in the description in the show notes. And, you know, you can even throw just like as little as $5 a month and join the gratitude gang. Throw $10 a month and get on the private Facebook group where I share like the best meditations and podcast episodes and sound healing and anything that's making my life better. I like to share in this group, and I kind of go above and beyond to try and, add value to people that are supporting and joining that group. But regardless, I appreciate anyone who's, especially if you're listening. We're like an hour and a half into this freaking podcast already. So if you're listening this far, you're a kindred spirit. You're my soul brother, my soul sister, and I love you. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. I hope you'll go do this work and take some clarity from this episode. Even if, like, for me, I already knew all these steps besides step 3. And step 3, seeing the vision beyond the vision, really helped me. And then just going through and actually doing the work, because I intellectually knew all these. Ooh, what time is it? It was 11:11. Nice. Such a blessed day. But yeah, I got a lot of value from doing this work myself, and I know it's going to change your life if you actually take the time to do it on an emotional level and commit yourself to journaling and doing the inner work. I love you. I love you. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. What divine timing to just end this podcast here at 11:11 in the morning. I'm going to go crush a workout, hop in the cold shower, take a beautiful hot bath and detox myself. Then I'm going to go meditate and lay in the sun and just create the life of my dreams while meditating. And then I'll probably make some music, and then I got a coaching call this afternoon, and then my little dear Ollie Sky is coming back, so I'm just feeling blessed. I'm stoked on life, and I appreciate you guys listening. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, beautiful rest of your week. And again, if you haven't, leave a review and shoot me a little DM online to let me know that you've been listening. It really means the world to me. Peace and blessings. Get out there and create the life of your dreams. Go manifest some magic and some miracles, because you absolutely deserve to have it all. Peace and blessings.